Hey guys, welcome to part one of Tuesday's videos. Because we didn't have class on Monday, I'm going to make two videos for today to kind of catch you up to speed. So I hope you all had an excellent Memorial Day weekend, and we are on week 3 out of 6 weeks. So this is midterm week and it is our halfway point. So that's good. That's something to celebrate. A couple of reminders. We're entering qualitative research paper, which is unit 4 for us. Everything we've been doing in this class has been working up to this. So the annotated bib and the proposal are all in preparation for this paper. So you had a couple of things to do for today. You needed to read one qualitative research paper. There are 4 online. Make sure you do read one. One of the biggest parts or one of the biggest problems that students have with this unit or with this style of paper is they don't look at any samples and somehow they don't pay attention to the templates that I provide. And therefore, they just try to write a typical research paper, but it is not a typical research paper. It's a qualitative research paper, meaning you have primary and secondary sources, as we can look at here. Okay, so we'll talk all about the pieces of this research paper in this video, and then the next video, we're going to go to the stuff that I had due for Tuesday, or for originally just on Tuesday, but the survey questions. So we'll spend 2 days on survey questions. And as you can see later in the week, tomorrow's video will be for you guys. The only homework you have is to work on writing your surveys. And I'm going to teach you how to generate the SurveyMonkey link and how to actually work SurveyMonkey in case you're not familiar with it. If you are, great. You're already ahead of the game. But I suspect that many of you are not familiar with SurveyMonkey. Thursday, I would highly recommend that you do not generate your link for SurveyMonkey until you watch Thursday's video. So I'm going to try to clarify everything before we get to discussion 11 because discussion 11 has quite a few pieces and I don't want you guys to get confused / not generate the correct link because I want everything kind of in the same place to make this process as easy as possible. You'll essentially be taking 13 other surveys, aka your classmates' surveys, and that will be your homework going into Friday so that you have the data over the weekend so you can go into Monday with that data already coded and we'll start to code that data. All that, if none of that makes sense yet, that's totally fine. We will get to it piece by piece. So for today, in this first video, we're just going to focus on this stuff here, the introduction to the qualitative research paper. I'm going to show you 3 different ways or 3 different places where you can look at information to understand how to write this paper. The first is I have a template already prepared, and students have found that pretty helpful in the past that I just say, here's exactly what the qualitative research paper is. It's more scientific than other research papers. Again, I'm trying to cater this class more towards STEM majors because that's what most of you are. Anyway, and then the second point is I have a PowerPoint. It's kind of lame because I tailored it for my themed class, the dystopian class, so it has Walking Dead in it, and we'll go over that briefly. And then the third method, or the third way, is Jack pages 70 through 73, which I assigned here. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into this part, and the second video, like I said, will be about survey questions, and please do watch both of those today. I know it's more work than usual, but we'll get back on track with just one video per day on Wednesday. All right, so for the qualitative research paper, here's the assignment sheet, which I've already gone through briefly. This you can kind of ignore in terms when it says PADU. Again, that was the theme. You guys pretty much have your topics, you have your proposals with my feedback given to you. The one major thing through all the feedback, you guys did pretty well. The one major thing is to keep in mind that you should not already have your opinion completely formed. So there are 2 parts, again, of this project. There's the secondary source research, which you've already completed through your annotated bibliography and a little bit through your proposal. The first part you have not done. You have a whole research field, your primary research, aka your surveys. All of that you have not collected yet. So you have no idea what the public perception or belief is going to be about your topic. So you shouldn't go in saying, I'm going to argue this. You're saying, I plan to inspect or investigate or whatever this part through conducting surveys. Okay, so that's the one thing that I would recommend if I said in your survey, in your proposal feedback, you're not quite getting it yet, and here's a couple of ideas for how you can connect the dots a little bit more. then please do take a look at that feedback and let me know if you have questions, because that has to be clear before we go into the qualitative research paper, like the nitty-gritty of the qualitative research paper. So we've already done most of these parts. You guys did all of these. Now we're on step 4, which is developing a survey and distributing them on SurveyMonkey, and then the template, which I provide on eCampus. We're going to go over that today, as well as a sample. We already looked at this, which were some sample questions and some just formatting stuff. All right, the second part is the rubric itself, which I believe we've already touched on this as well. So these are just the categories in the template, and we'll cover these. But as you can see here, findings, there needs to be 4 to 5 bullet pointed findings. This is the section where you have graphs, direct quotes, charts, tables, etc. You do not have paragraphs and findings, and I will stress this many more times just to sink that into your brain so you don't make the mistake of typing too much in findings and then not enough in discussion. Discussion section is a one-on-one analysis, elaboration, or connection of the findings to other scholarship. So again, just go ahead and read through this rubric. It is already online. It's been online for the 2 weeks now, and hopefully I'll make it clear in the PowerPoint in the pages in Jack as well. So keep in mind the paper is 10 pages. The reason why it's so long and 10 pages might sound like a scary amount is because the English department requires 20 fully formed polished pages for the final portfolio in order to not only pass this class but do well. So the 10 pages out of this is just in this. So I cut one paper, lengthened this one a little bit. However, this one can include graphs and charts and tables and such, so it's not 10 full pages. I'm trying to basically make it as manageable for you guys as possible. So those 10 pages, I will be strict on the length. I want you to have a minimum of 10 pages, but keep in mind other stuff goes into those 10 pages. And my students last semester, I said because they had an additional paper, their paper had to be, I believe, 8 pages, and most of them went into 10 or 12. So they did not have trouble arriving at this length. If I see that you're struggling with it or you feel you're struggling, I will obviously provide you with feedback, but if you just say, hey, I can't generate this much material, I'll ask you probably a list of questions, and then your answers to those questions will help you generate material. All right. The next thing we're going to do is to start looking at the template. We'll look at a sample and the PowerPoint, and then that will be it for this video, and then we'll jump into the surveys for the next video. Okay, so the template. What I would recommend before you even start this project is that you download the template, which I'll show you where to do that. First off, I forgot to mention, because I wanted to start this next unit so quickly, the midterm portfolio, I've already sent about, 5 reminders about this. The portfolio is due tonight, 11:59 p.m. on eCampus. I provided some details here. How you get to this is you go to coursework, and I'll just take you through the steps real quick to make sure that you know where to access the submission portal for the midterm. You go to papers, go to midterm, of course. And there should be several documents that pop up, and the last one is not a document but the submission portal. So I've given you some information here. There should be the 4 parts: reflective cover memo, annotated bibliography revision, proposal revision, and peer editing. It's due tonight by 11:59 p.m. Submit it as one attachment. I've already stressed this in another video. I won't hunt through the submission portal. I'm just going to take what is your first submission. If for some reason you submitted the wrong thing, you can email me and just say, hey, I submitted the wrong thing. Please accept this one. And I'll be like, of course, sure. Because this is a test run for your final portfolio, and because grades are due very quickly after June 23rd is when your final portfolio is due, and grades are due like a couple days later. Because of that, there are no late exceptions. So the midterm is a trial run for the final portfolio. So if your midterm is late, you will receive a 0, in the same case that if the final is late, you will receive a 0. Therefore, don't make the midterm be late, okay? I will send you too many reminders, probably heckling you about submitting your portfolio, midterm and final. So if you don't want me to heckle you, then submit it on time, if not like an hour before if possible. If something's wrong with eCampus, of course, just email me with your midterm portfolio attached, and I will be very grateful. Also prepare for the worst, and that sounds really, really dramatic, but you should have your midterm saved in more than one place. You should email it to yourself, or you should put it in a jump drive, or make a Google Doc. I don't care. Just prepare for your information to be copied so that if your computer crashes or God forbid something like that happens, you don't have the additional stress of not having your midterm or even your final. Okay, so just prepare for that. It's part of college life and being an academic or just in higher education. All right, so that's a little detour away from the qualitative research paper, but make sure you do submit the midterm on time. So back to the qualitative research paper. You go to coursework, you go to papers, and then of course the correct unit, so qualitative research paper. And then template is here. So that document is the same document that I have here. What you do with this once you download it is this will change. This is the title of your study. The qualitative research part, a qualitative study, will stay the same as well as this. And then, of course, you have to add your name. Keep it in this text box so it's more, you can move it around a little bit more. This is also a text box. You can change the length and such. It will cut off this, so you'll just have to space down. The things that you keep here are obviously you cut all of this, and then you keep the words purpose, methods, findings/results, you keep them bolded and as they are. Keywords you keep italicized and bolded, and then you add what other words you are going to use here. So that's kind of like search terms that you would need to use for your, if someone else was searching for your study. Introduction, you don't need to have a heading section, so you can just delete all this, but this should be about 2 paragraphs, and a lot of your proposal could work in this section. You should plan to provide research in this section, not only to add length, but also to add substance to your argument. So you're saying essentially, this is what has been done already with the study. Here's what is missing. And so the background research, just like you did in your proposal, here's what is missing, just like you did in your proposal, the gap part. Then you go into, so therefore the study aimed to, and you write it in past tense now because the study is over. And you might have one line about your findings and results, but you don't go into depth here because there's a whole section later for that. Okay, methods. You delete this part. You keep participants, procedures, and data analysis. All of this, of course, you will change to fit your specific research. Participants, these sections need to be broken up accordingly. So participants are only the who, and this will be pretty short because it's just the people who you surveyed for your study. The sample has, again, observation or interview. You don't need to worry about that. Procedures, this is how you distributed the study. And what questions did you ask? Why did you ask those questions? You can add a little bit of length here with that. Data analysis is probably one of the hardest parts for students to understand. So the data analysis is the process of looking for findings. It is not the findings themselves. So this means take me through the steps of coding the data. After you received your findings, what did you do first, second, and third? You're doing it through SurveyMonkey, so they're already going to have a lot of your analytics. So, but which question did you look at? Did you cross over the information? Did you look at one survey as against another survey? So it is not, again, like the findings showed. That's not for data analysis section. That's just how you arrived at your findings, how you coded the data. All right, so this video is almost done. For the next video, I'm going to pick up right here in findings, and we'll keep going from there.